Welcome to Shared Lunch. I'm Luke Smith of Sharesies, and today we're going to be talking to Stuart Dickinson, CEO of Vista Group, a global software provider that's powering many of the world's cinemas. And we're doing that here at the Silky Otter, a cozy boutique cinema in Ponsonby, Auckland. We've just had a tour, we've watched the new Avatar trailer, we just ordered some fancy nibbles online. But before we get started, here's some important information.
Investing involves risk. You might lose the money you start with. We recommend talking to a licensed financial advisor. We also recommend reading product disclosure documents before deciding to invest. Everything you're about to see and hear is current at the time of recording.
Well, Stuart, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Silky Otter is one of the cool New Zealand cinema groups. Use full Vista Cloud, which is the latest generation of our software, so it's great to have you here today.
Vista is obviously one of New Zealand's more successful software exporting stories, but unlike some of the others that are pretty well known, I think it's not super obvious what you do to the public. Can you tell us what Vista does, and how do we as moviegoers interact with Vista, but we might not know that we are?
So yeah, Vista's been around for almost 30 years. We'll celebrate our 30-year anniversary next year, and it started in New Zealand with a pretty simple idea, really. When you went to the movies originally, you went to a box office and you might have gone and bought some concessions, and that was two very different experiences. And the big idea for Vista software was to bring those two things together so that a cinema could service a moviegoer, sell them some popcorn and a ticket at the same time. And so that's where it started. And so today, almost half of the cinemas in the world use our software, which is a pretty amazing achievement. And so if you go across New Zealand and Australia, Event, Hoyts, Village, Silky Otter, Reading, all use our software to power the experiences that we as moviegoers have. And so whether or not that's selling the ticket, it's powering the mobile applications, the websites, the kiosks, but then also in the back office of the cinema, it's all about how does a film actually get to be on screen? How does that get programmed? How does that showtime appear to make sure that when we go as moviegoers that experience is actually really cool? And so our software supports all of that part of the industry. So yeah, pretty cool.
And the scale is amazing. I mean, nearly 50% market share, and we'll get to that founding story. So Take us back. How would that have been done pre-Vista?
So it was traditionally done with two different software applications, or in some cases for some cinemas it was as simple as I can kind of remember getting an admit one ticket. When I went to a mall, you get a ticket, somebody tore it off as you walked into the auditorium. There was no such thing as numbered seating. You basically sat wherever you wanted, and that was your experience. And so software has really revolutionized that. With Vista software, we can work out where somebody's going to sit. We can have them choose those seats in the auditorium. We can then differentiate that experience, whether or not it's on lounges, so the recliners, all those different types of experiences are enabled through our software. And so that's changed a lot. And then on the food and beverage side, which is for many cinemas and operators today, just as important as the movie experience, and in some cases even more as they wrap a whole experience around it. Traditionally, it was you went to the bar, you might have bought a Coke and a popcorn, taken that back to your seat. Today, as we've just experienced, the ability to order food in seat, to have a much more sophisticated food and beverage menu, to have that delivered to you, is all part of the great experience of what a cinema outing looks like today, and that's something that our software powers.
You must see some fascinating statistics through the platform. Maybe one, can you allude to how many tickets are going through the platform in the last 6 months?
A lot is the answer, and so we know that across our market share, globally, there's about 15 odd billion US dollars of transactions that go through our solutions each year, and that's continuing to increase as the market changes. The experiences that people want when they go to the cinema is becoming a lot more expansive, and so the spend per admission is increasing because it's gone from the Coke and the popcorn to, hey, I want burgers, I want wine, I want the whole experience, maybe some brownie or something like that to finish it off. What we're seeing in cinema experiences is that it's catering for all types of people. One of my earliest memories as a boy growing up, first time my parents let me sort of go to the mall alone was go to the mall with your friends, go to see a movie, and that was safe and it was something to do, and I really remember that as an experience. That experience still exists today, but there's also a whole heap more sophisticated, like really sophisticated experiences. And I was just in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia and Dubai a couple of weeks ago and touring some of the cinemas there, and they are the most beautiful facilities that you've ever seen, and they wrap a movie in this really, really high-end food and beverage plus seating type experience. And so cinemas of today are very different to what we saw in the past.
So speaking to the scale of Vista, where are you across the globe, and you know, how many sites, for example, are you operating in?
Yeah, so we think about the market two ways. We think about what we call enterprise cinemas, and so that's our clients who have more than 20 screens, which is actually quite a large number of screens. And so about 46% of the world of those cinemas, and if we exclude India, Russia, and China, so 46% of the rest of the world use our software. So we are very present. And then we have what's called the small market, which is for operators less than 20 screens. And we have a product there that's called Visa, which is our small market or indie product. And we've got about 1,200 sites running on that platform as well. So 46% equates for us to about 4,700 cinema sites, which is a pretty big number when you think about it. You put the Visa number together, so there's almost 6,000 cinema sites around the world who use Vista software.
I do want to go to industry trends and hear more about your strategy, but before we do, founding story, Kiwi startup. Hear that we're about to hit the 30th anniversary very shortly. Can you take us through that founding story? Yeah,
so Vista Group was founded by Murray Holdaway and a group of other Kiwi entrepreneurs, and it really started, they were running a software development company, and they got an opportunity as Village Australia was expanding and looking to come into New Zealand to build the ticketing application for them, and so that's where the idea comes from. And if you go right back to the name Vista, it stands for Village Integrated Ticketing Application is how you get through it. And so they then built the company, continued to expand, so followed Village around the world as it expanded, but also started to create the offer for more and more organisations. Company listed on the New Zealand Stock Exchange in 2014, and that gave the company a lot more equity. We went through a process of acquiring a number of add-ons and additional components to the business. We went further into film and distribution, which is really the studio side of this industry, and supporting that as well. And so those products are what's been stitched together today to really power the ecosystem that we're building.
So revenue-wise, I think the last results was 6 months to 30 June, about 77 million revenue. So that makes you a run rate full year of circa 150 million. And I guess in simple terms, how does Vista make money?
Yeah, so so we're guiding this year, public company, we're guiding to around 167 million. This 167 million Kiwi of revenue. And the way we make money traditionally, when we started the business, was on selling perpetual licenses for the software. So a client would want to buy the software, would charge them a fee for that and some maintenance associated with that. Today, we're transforming that model into a subscription model. So it's what we call SaaS, or software as a service revenue. The client pays a subscription. That subscription has a component that's fixed based on usually the number of sites that we're supporting or something like that metric. And then it also has a variable component associated with it as well, which is really about the revenue that's going through our platform that we're enabling the cinema. So that's how we're growing the business, and our big sort of focus at the moment is moving all of those on-premise clients, or the clients we sold that perpetual license to SaaS and to the cloud, as we call it. That means that we're doing a whole lot more for them. We're actually starting to run the software. We're starting to really enable and deliver that for them, rather than just shipping them the CD and keeping that upgrading. So transforming the business and growing quite quickly.
Yeah, and I imagine one of the benefits of doing that is it's on a scalable product that the whole team are developing, that all sites get to use, and on the flip side helps grow a higher margin, higher growth business. Yeah,
that's absolutely the ambition, and we're still early on the journey in terms of moving the clients to the cloud. At the end of this year, we'll have about just over 35% of the client base who are on some step of the journey in terms of moving them to cloud, but it's going to take us a number of years to get all the way through, and I think that's what's exciting. We're continuing to accelerate the business and really enable that transformation.
Performance-wise, what are some of the things that retail investors should be keeping an eye on the signal, or what are some of the metrics that you and the team are really focused on?
So we're focused on what we call recurring revenue growth. And so we have two types of revenue in our business. We have recurring revenue, which is really the SaaS or the maintenance revenue, and so that's what we're really trying to grow quickly.
Yeah.
And then we have what's called non-recurring revenue, and that's for things like services, hardware, etc. That will stay relatively flat over time. Our ambition is to grow those recurring revenue streams. That's really a good sign of how we're going in terms of getting clients onto the new platform, growing our reach and growing our market.
And churn, how does churn compare to, a typical business software benchmark? Is there a risk of that migration that they could be going to? Are there many competitors?
Yeah. So I think when you ask a client to move to cloud software, regardless of whether or not it's Vista or anybody, you create a churn moment. You're effectively asking the client to think about that purchase again. So there's always a risk. We're really focused on making that process as easy and as simple as possible for them to make that decision to get onto the new platform. In terms of global competitors, there are not a lot. In fact, there isn't really another global competitor given our market share. Certainly within specific countries, there are some competitors for parts of our product suite, or there may be a country-specific version of the competitor as well. And so we try to be really thoughtful about that.
I think it's important to address the elephant in the room, which is what impact is streaming having on the cinema industry? And you look at, there's a cost of living crisis, you might just squeeze it in from the couch because it's convenient. But is it really having an impact? What are the numbers saying, and what's your view?
Yeah, I think all parts of the world are in slightly different places. And so Vista as a global company is exposed to box office and trends that exist in the Middle East, in Europe, and North America, and in this land. And so each market is growing differently and is having different outcomes. If you take a step up and think about entertainment or out-of-home entertainment or experiences, shared experiences are something that we as humans like, whether or not it's going to the restaurant, to the cinema, out to do some sort of type of experience. And so I think what's happening with cinema as well is that we've proved and continue to prove that when there's great content, a great movie like Barbie, Oppenheimer, etc., people come out in droves. And so we're seeing that at the moment with the second installment of Wicked. We've seen it as Zootopia has just opened really recently as well. And I know there's a whole heap of people looking forward to the third installment in the Avatar series when that comes. And so that shared experience is something that people come out for and really want to continue to embrace. And you then see it down in genres as well. And so one of the most interesting things I learned is that moviegoer attendance over-indexes on horror. And so when you go in and think about that a little bit more, it's because ultimately if you're a horror fan, you want to be in a dark room and you want to scream with somebody else because it's a pretty cool experience. And so horror movies perform super well as a genre in theatre, and we're seeing that with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which just opened last weekend. It's overachieving on what they thought it was going to do. And so I think the reasons we go to cinema are still there. It's a great experience and it's a night out. It's something that we can really enjoy in terms of that shared experience. What's been wrapped around it now in terms of food and entertainment and all of those things is making it a much more complete experience. What I can say is that you can't get an IMAX screen in your front room. You cannot have the earth-shaking sound and the big screen of that experience, and so you're unlikely to have somebody delivering food and beverage right to your seat as well at home. And so all of those things transform the experience and make for something pretty unique. In terms of streaming, and so streaming is convenience. And so I think we all probably have one or multiple different streaming services at home. What we do know is that when a movie has a theatrical release, and so that's when it appears in a cinema first, it's more likely to perform better in streaming. And that's because the cultural moment that happened when the movie was launched in the theatre, the marketing that was put behind it, and all of that sort of social buzz that was created by the launch of the movie, that then flows into streaming as well, because if something just shows up on a streaming platform, other than appearing on a tile, you're probably not necessarily likely to know a lot about it. And so what we're seeing now is a lot of movies are being made, they've been put in theatres first, and then they go to streaming. And so I think that trend's probably going to continue. The way, and if you think about box office, the way to make money is to put a movie in the theatre first. You make the box office money, and then you make more money from a streaming perspective. So it makes commercial sense to put it in a theatre, and then it makes, I think, audience sense as well.
Interesting too that people love a fright, but they want someone to cling to.
they turns out they do.
One of the things we talked about earlier was that rich, personalised experience, and I think even Silky Otter, the intimacy and the experience that you're providing here alludes to where things are going. But what are some of the cool innovations that you're delivering that support that?
I think it starts with, and if you think about the Silky Otter experience, it's highly curated. Each week I get an email from Silky Otter which tells me what movies are going to come out, and that it's thoughtfully targeted towards me and what I like to see. And so our software enables that. It understands the type of movie I like. It then starts to create personalization for me with other titles and what they may be coming out. And so I think it just goes to much more of a trend around software that enables that personalized experience and really delivering that outcome, as opposed to just fronting up to say, hey, I want to see a movie, and not really being sure what you're going to see. And so moviegoers, we like to know from a loyalty perspective, maybe we're subscribing, particularly in the US and parts of Europe now, subscription programs are really, really taking off. And so what that means is you might buy a subscription, maybe a monthly payment, unlimited movies or a certain number of movies, really resonating well.
So where your business model is a subscription to those cinemas is allowing them to create the same model.
They're creating a subscription model.
That's cool.
As well.
If you pull off what you want to do, what does Vista look like over the next sort of 5 years?
Yeah, so we've set a financial ambition for the organisation to deliver what we call as a 100% platform, and so that's about $315 million a year of ARR, or annualized recurring revenue. That's just over double where we're at the moment, and also while delivering that, to deliver about 6,000 sites. And so if you think today we've got about 4,700 enterprise sites, we want to grow that as well. So we've got some pretty powerful financial outcomes that we're looking for, but I really think, from my perspective, the role that we play in this industry, cinema, film distribution, connecting those experiences is really, really important. And so I think as an industry, we have a role to help enable that, to help power that ecosystem, to provide the data, the insights, to let people make better decisions around what movies go in what cinemas at what time, and then how they stay there and how that whole experience is monetized. Because ultimately we want a healthy and growing ecosystem, and if we can help power that, then that's pretty exciting as well.
Speaking of culture, I mean, one of the things I'm imagining working in the cinema industry is a group of movie buffs. There's posters of movies and actors on the wall, but what is it like working in a technology company that services the cinema industry? I
can definitely tell you that, yes, we have lots of movie posters in our Auckland office. So
that's what I expected.
That is that's correct. And I think ultimately we're a technology company. We're delivering services and solutions to the entertainment industry, or specifically the out-of-home entertainment industry. And for us, that's a pretty unique privilege. It's pretty cool to be able to do that. There is absolutely no doubt that there are some pretty out there moments in the industry. I've had an opportunity to be in the same room as Leonardo DiCaprio and some other pretty cool actors.
I was going to ask you if you've got some good celeb goss.
Yeah, no goss, but certainly through industry events and experiences, we get to see and share in some pretty cool stories.
Running a global software company from New Zealand, obviously 46% global share in an industry is huge. What does the day-to-day look like? And I guess alluding to investors, just to understand what it really takes to run a business of that scale from little Aotearoa.
Yeah. So today we've got about 750 in the Vista team. About 300-ish of those are based in New Zealand. The rest of them are based around the world. And so it is a truly 24/7 business. And the interesting thing about our business is that it peaks towards the end of the week. And so it peaks on Fridays, Saturday nights, as more and more people go to the movies. And so the opportunities are amazing, because we get to have really cool conversations with different clients in different parts of the world and different languages. Our software is multi-language. It is what's called physicalized, so it's able to be operated in different parts of Europe where there's a whole lot of different legislation. And that is really powerful in terms of differentiation for the software. It's what makes Vista really unique. And in terms of running that, it means that we spend a lot of time, my leadership team is global. We spend a lot of time communicating. I get to spend a lot of time on planes, out talking to clients and our team to make sure that we're heading in the right direction.
Finally, most people who are listening, hopefully, they're about to go off on their well-earned summer break. What's a top flick you're recommending for the summer holidays, Stuart?
Look, if you've got a young family, you can't go past Zootopia. I think it's going to be, it is very cool.
Right, I'll have to put that one down on my list.
It's playing really well. If you have been following the Avatar saga, the third one is going to look great. Wicked is out there and doing really well. And I think what the message this summer would be is that there's something for everybody at the movies. And so get out there, enjoy it. There is totally different experiences you can have in New Zealand, whether or not it's at the end of a mall and really enjoying that experience, or in the super curated gold class type experience that is available in some of our cinemas. You can have it all in New Zealand, so go have fun, enjoy it, and we'll see you at the movies.
Hey, look, Stuart, really thanks for having us. This has been a really fun conversation.
No problem.
Really enjoyed learning about the story, and obviously thanks for hosting us at the Silky Otter. Look at this.
Look at this. The food has arrived. That is great. And look,
I might knock off for the day.
Well, this is just an example of some of the restaurant quality food you get when you go to the cinema nowadays, and so it's pretty cool to be able to experience that here as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.